Welcome to episode 85 of the Section 247 show, a Sports Talk Philly partner. As always, presented by Michael's Glass Company, 215-338-3293. Tell them that Two Mics sent you. Remember, check out Sports Talk Philly at sportstalkphilly.com, at Sports Talk PHL on the Twitter machine. Remember, podcasts. We're also available on Podomatic. Let me read this off here. Section 247 pod. So that's section 247 pod.podomatic.com. I wanted to change it, Michael, but I can't. So it stays that way. It is what it is. How are you, sir?
I'm doing just fine. We were just talking about hitting golf balls that are free in my field in my backyard. Although not today with the winds howling like they've been all day. Picked up my trash can 16 times.
Yep, we were going to go outside and play with the children and I. We're going to go outside and play, and the lawn chairs got thrown all over the place. And the only one who seemed to enjoy it was the dog. So I said, you know what, we're just going to hang out inside. That's how it's going to be.
Yeah, I took my son out, and the wind almost blew him over. I had to bring him back in before he blew away.
Well, that's what happens when you have tropical storm, tropical storm, Jersey, that kind of thing.
It's hard to believe tropical storm. It's not even June 1st, which is when hurricane season starts.
The way things are going this year, it's not a surprise that we were getting hit with a tropical storm at this juncture. I saw a funny meme out there that said the murder hornets are coming. August will be Godzilla. In February, the Browns are going to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, I get it.
So if Godzilla's coming, you'll probably be out in your driveway with your legs spread open. Please enter here.
Wherever he's showing up, I'm going and I'm videotaping that bad boy.
That you are.
He can step right on me for all I care. So this week on the show, Michael, it is part two, as they say, as the older folks like us say, part two of the great the great football movie debate. We are going to discuss some of our favorite players, our favorite coaches, our favorite teams. And if we have time, we are going to get into some of our favorite scenes from movies. You and I are going to give our list, then we're going to go out to the people that are watching with us. In the meantime, the people, tell them how they can watch.
So good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode Ocho Cinco, as my wife just said. And how I saw that is because my wife is in the Section 247 show feed, which you can find on either Facebook Live, you can find on YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, and YouTube. So please continue to like and share. But in order for us to see your comments, you have to be in that Section 247 show feed. And you want to chime in along with us tonight, because last week was a good one. Hopefully we have a lot more responses tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Last week, took it was a tremendous amount of fan interest. We did really, really well on the podcast version of the show on Podomatic, Michael. We were in the top 100 of sports podcasts, which was exciting. We were there with our friends, A Work in Progress, who were up there in the top 10. And I know Brent Piles was watching this thing. We're coming for you, buddy, in a very competitive and fun way, of course. So if you're watching this, share it. Let people know. You want to get started here, sir?
Yeah, sure. What's the rundown?
All right, so the rundown. We're going to go through the pick one. It's not three this week. It's a pick one. Which fictional quarterback would you want to lead you on a fourth quarter drive in the championship game? We got a lot of feedback on this on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're gonna go that. We'll bring that out to the people. We're going to discuss our top 5 favorite players and coaches. It doesn't have to be 5 of each for you and I. It can be 2 coaches, 3 players, so on and so forth. We are going to discuss our favorite fictional teams. And if we have time, we'll get to the favorite fictional scenes.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, let's get this started here. So this is a little bit of what we're doing fancy stuff now where we can share screens, and you can see our Instagram right here, people, once this pops up. That would be at SEC247 show on the Instagram. This is what we put out, Michael. If you had a fourth quarter drive and you were looking to win a championship, which quarterback would you choose? So these are the people we put out there. Up in the top hand corner here, we have, let's see here. We have Vince Howard from the East Dillon Lions, Friday Night Lights, the TV show. Joe Kane is able from the program. John Moxon from Varsity Blues. We got The Rock in the game plan. We have Shane Falco in the replacements. We have the original Mean Machine Paul Crew from The Longest Yard, Steamin' Willie Beeman from Any Given Sunday, and we have maybe one of my favorites right here. That is Matt Saracen from Friday Night Lights, The Early Years.
That's the TV show, that one.
That's
right?
the TV show. No movies. So we went fictional here. So we're going fictional. You switch it up a little bit. Do you have any suggestions here? Do you have anyone that you're going to take before I go to the people? I have some stuff that the people brought in, and I hope some people chime in here on the comments.
So first off, I'm getting rid of Joe Kane because he's probably already at the game drunk, fresh out of rehab. So probably don't want him playing. Shane Falco rather be working on a boat, scrubbing barnacles off of it. Paul Wrecking Crew is in jail. Don't want that. Like my quarterback to be clean, smart. The Rock, not a quarterback in my book. So I'm going to go with Jonathan Moxon. Smart, can make quick decisions. He's going to Brown next year in college. Clean cut, Texas boy. There you go. John Moxon's making my drive.
So it's funny you say that. You have John Moxon chime in. You say you chime in with John Moxon. We got a couple votes for John Moxon on the Twitter. Wendell Brown actually chimed in on our Twitter, his starting running back, saying that he would pick Jonathan Moxon, which I think that makes sense.
Because Mox got him into the end zone. He promised and he delivered.
That is true. That is true. Look, Moxon to me is a backup who I don't know if he could get it done. I'm looking at a guy who's going to take a team to a title game. Paul Crew, I got it, but he had a motley crew around him. It is what it is. Steamin' Willie Beeman, backup doing good things, kind of like Nick Foles. Maybe. Hard to go against The Rock. It's hard to go against The Rock.
Really easy. It's easy when anything else The Rock plays in football wise, he's a defensive lineman. I.e. ballers. That is
the thing. So The Rock is an All-American defensive end, could have been in the pros, but he's playing a quarterback.
Who put a single digit? What casting director decided to put a single digit on that big guy? He should be wearing 2 digits. He should be wearing 16 or an 18 or even a friggin' 19 playing quarterback in the move for how big he is.
Are you going to argue with Dwayne The Rock Johnson over his jersey choice?
Yep, I am.
Okay. Joe Kane, I agree with you. I don't know that he's actually sober. And
he didn't start. Mind you, he didn't start his final game. He had to come in off the bench.
He did, and the defense led those teams. I'm torn here between Vince Howard and Matt Saracen. I love what Matty Saracen did. He came in after an injury and led the Dillon Panthers to a state title. But Vince Howard, man, that kid has moxie, and that he knows how to lead people. That's my choice. I'm going Vince Howard. Friday Night Lights.
Oh, I thought for a second you were going to say Moxon.
No, he's still in Lions, baby. Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan, best role was in Creed. The Creed movies, no doubt, both 1 and 2, which I watched over the weekend at night. That's his real role.
Brett chimes in. Are we assuming that all of them are healthy? Why does Moxon replace Lance Harbor? We're going to say Lance Harbor's out. So, we had some people on the Facebook asking where are the linemen situated. There was a lot of love for Shane Falco. To me, I'm going Vince Howard. I love what he did for East Dillon. He led that team when they were down. That's my pick.
Yeah, I mean, but look at Moxon, though. Moxon basically led that team to victory in the second half with no coach. The students, the kids, the athletes coached that game. Lance Harbor was the coach. So there's what you're looking for, Brett. He wasn't the quarterback. He was the actual coach doing the hook and ladder on the side, running the oop-de-oop, tweeter, busting fakes, catching the ball, spirals from Moxon. Get out of here. He's the one. You want Moxon leading the charge.
See, and that's the other thing. Moxon had more players around him than Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan did more with less. That's why I can't pick Matty Saracen. Matty Saracen had Smash Williams. He had Tim Riggins. He had a lot of guys that he had a lot of talent around him.
Mm-hmm.
Like Vince Howard, not so much. He had a great coach, though, and we'll get to that a little bit later.
Beeman had T.O.
Beeman did have T.O. Beeman was what was my other choice here. You know, he was the guy. It's hard. It's hard. Shane Falco, Footsteps Falco. He overcame that Sugar Bowl and went out there and led the Sentinels. But it was done and over with after that. They weren't
Didn't anybody have anything better to do that day?
Apparently so.
That's where everybody brings up the Sugar Bowl. What about instead of Shane Falco, we have Johnny Utah?
So that's a good point. We could have put Johnny Utah in there. There's a lot of different ways we could have went there.
I love that movie. I can watch that movie over and over again and never get sick of it. Hey, Utah, so, give me two.
If you had to take a quarterback out of this and put another quarterback in, who would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, as soon as this came up, Joe Kane was the first one out for me. Who would I put one in? I put Junior Floyd in from the Little Giants.
Okay. A little bit of a prissy boy for me.
Well, he's typical quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of these guys are tough. Most of the guys on here are tough in some form, some fashion. I don't know if Moxon's that tough, but
oh, he's tough. He's head smart. He's tough. He fought Kilmer's verbal abuse for the 3 years prior to taking the reins. So he's tough. He's mental tough. He's built. Telling you, he's leading that charge. They won the game. They won the game. They were going on the states.
Right. They were going on the states, but they weren't in states. Aaron would put in Tony Danza here again.
If this was a kicker show, we would put him in.
Right, exactly. If we were talking about the best fictional kickers, we'd put him in. There's not that many.
Who are you taking out and who are you putting in?
That's a tough one, man. I don't know.
I'd take out Paul Crewe.
I might take out Paul Crewe and put Paul Crewe back in. Is it okay to put Adam Sandler in there?
Absolutely, yeah. Put
For
him
whatever,
in there.
And it's funny because Burt Reynolds is a all college guy at Florida State. To me, I actually liked Adam Sandler better in that quarterback role.
Did Adam Sandler wear 22 in the reboot?
I believe he wore 19 because there was a character who I'm blanking on the name right now that Reynolds played that wore 22. Yeah, and someone can chime in with who they'd want. Who else? Brett chimes in. Lavander Williams from Wildcats. He would go with. What are some other? Zach was out there. Nicole's out there. Who else would they put in? Would you put AC Slater? He's a quarterback.
Go Bayside. Hell yeah. Take out Footsteps Falco.
I mean that's a good one, right?
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Who was the Valley quarterback? Wasn't it a blonde hair guy? That came and showed up every once in a while.
You never actually saw a Valley athlete other than the chess player, Victor Stronsky or whatever his name was. You always saw the thugs from Valley coming over and messing with Slater and Zach. By the way, we're going to sidebar. One of my favorite shows is Zach Morris's Trash on Amazon Prime. I watch that every night and laugh my ass off. Sidebar.
I can't say that I've seen it.
You gotta watch it.
But I am very excited for the return of Saved by the Bell.
You were 18. You were close. 18 in that movie. Thanks, Brett.
Some of the people, Tim Lomax chimed in. He debated this at length, going with Jonathan Moxon. Coach E, who played Wendell Brown, went obviously Jonathan Moxon. A lot of the ladies showed some love for Shane Falco, and I'm just going to guess it's that Keanu Reeves factor.
Keanu.
Yeah, all the older ladies love Keanu.
Knock, knock, Neo.
Speaking of Keanu Reeves, we were watching, as I was prepping for this podcast, Speed was on, and it did not age well. Did not age well at all.
Well, no. I mean, they're using a payphone. And you see Dennis Hopper's, did you ever see Dennis Hopper's cell phone?
Yeah,
that's the size of my laptop I'm using right now. The size of my microphone.
I saw him pick up the phone, and I was just like, "Oh, this is interesting."
But it might not age well. But Sandra Bullock looks great in that movie.
I guess so. I guess so.
Come on. You know she does. She looked good in that movie in Demolition Man.
Lizzie chimes in, Matt Saracen all the way. Matt Saracen came into a tough situation and led Dylan to a championship. And, Willie Beeman, he's another guy, steps in for an injured quarterback. A little bit of a Nick Foles there.
Stepped in for 2 quarterbacks.
That is true.
Cherubini fell off the bench and got hurt.
Yeah, you're right.
Wood said that. You know what the problem is with this is that you see these 8 quarterbacks, and I can't think of another one who to put in there because you just see these. I'm just so distracted by them right now. That's why I went with Junior Floyd. I'm sure there's other ones. I mean, remember the Titans.
So if not,
the Reds.
But that's where we limited to fictional because I couldn't justify putting in actual people. And then you say, no, they're not that good.
You're right. You're right.
Roman Gabriel, Ron Jaworski. How can you say no to those guys?
Yeah, you do have a point.
So that's why we went fictional. And look, I mean, there's fictional characters. Let's take a look here. I'm going to dive a little bit more into what we had on Facebook. Tim Lomax, I mentioned him. We had Mary Beth chimes in. She was, every time I posted it, she was going in there with our friend there, Keanu Reeves. Whatever. He's good in that movie. Is that his best quarterback role?
Besides Johnny Utah?
Yeah. Which one's better?
Johnny Utah, man. That beach scene when they're playing football with Patrick Swayze. And the funny thing is, I don't know if anybody ever notices this shit. And my wife will always say, she goes, how do you remember this? How do you see this stuff while watching a movie? It's played in a complete loop. It's the same scenes over and over again. You just don't realize it. Like he's literally running to the water for 6 years, but it's the same scene. It's just on a loop.
Andy Fisher chimes in, Mean Machine. It's not a surprise there from an old guy that he would be picking the Mean Machine. Clint Williamson chimes in. Jalen Hurts, am I right? Funny. He's not on here to defend himself. Lomax, again, trying to figure out every different scenario on who we could pick as a quarterback. Rick from last show, Rick W. I'm going to kill his name if he's watching. Werbicki. I don't know. I'm a Polak. I can't get it right. He goes Paul Crew from the original. Everyone else had elite talent around them, which is interesting. Brian Daly, Coach Daly, goes, no Jake Weiler from a Not Another Teen movie.
Good one.
That is a good one.
Good one. Chris Evans in his younger years.
Greg Van Ripper, Maddie Ice, Maddie Saracen, Brenda Gilbert, Shane Falco, another Shane Falco, bunch of Shane Falcos. Good ones out there.
You like my wife chimes in and says, I don't remember the Titans. So she's trying to be funny, but meanwhile she's never seen the movie anyway, so she really doesn't remember the Titans.
I mean, that's a conversation I think for a different day. How have you never seen the movie?
Because it doesn't have anybody getting kidnapped, killed, or it's a comedy, so that's why she's not interested.
Interesting, because I thought
she would love The Last Boy Scout.
Yeah, that's true. I thought everyone has seen that movie.
Apparently not.
All right, be sure. We're going to move on, Michael, but be sure to follow us on Podomatic. SEC247POD.podomatic.com. We will share it later on tonight in the comments. That's where you can find us when you're looking for us on audio. We got some stuff coming up. We're starting to put some new content out. Let's move on here. We're going to give our top 5 players and coaches. It can be, like I said, any sort of mix of 2, 3, whatever, however you want to do it. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. First one, I'm always a defensive guy, Shark LeVay. Any given Sunday.
Yeah.
Just the interaction between him and Jim Brown in the movie, who was a defensive coordinator, is just great. And how that's where when we were talking last week on how I really didn't care for the storyline, but him playing just to get a bonus and his brain is shot. That's pretty much real as it gets when it comes to a defensive player or a football player that played in that era. So yeah, he's probably one of the top ones up there for me.
All right, who else you got?
Again, defense, Becky Icebox, O'Shea.
No.
Yeah, Gotta love it. I mean, look, man, she makes boys cry. You can't go wrong with that. Not only that, she's a cheerleader in the first half of the final game, gets pissed off at Spike, puts down the pom-poms, puts on the shoulder pads, still in the cheerleading skirt, puts on the eye black, and goes out and wrecks shop in the second half.
Yeah. Okay. Continue.
Brett actually stole my third one. Again, defense. Alvin Mack. His talking smack to the quarterback, the lineman, the running back in those game scenes is unbelievable. And I'm sure is probably as real as it gets when that happens.
Razor bear claw stinger. That's the play call.
Yep. And give me some of yours as I was rambling on about literally the same position, the linebacker.
Yeah, you were going linebacker. So I'm going to see your defense, and I'm going to stick to offense. I'm going to go any given Sunday, Julian Washington, LL Cool J. How can you not?
I did.
That's a running back.
Simple enough. I did. You know what? The thing is with LL Cool, his Julian Washington in that movie, it casted great as a running back, just to his build and how he was and the character he was, because a running back is usually like a tougher, cockier one, whereas the wide receiver is like the crazy, cocky one. So it was good. That was actually a really good cast in that one.
I stick with offense. I want two running backs that are going to make some plays. The aforementioned Dylan Panthers of Friday Night Lights, the TV series. I'm going Smash Williams. He is the total package, a little bit of speed, a little bit of power, has a little bit of cockiness to get it done. That's my second running back. We don't have to pick by position, but I'm going with him. Did you pick three already or no?
I picked three. You go one more.
One more. I'm going wide receiver here. And I can't believe that I'm going to pick it, but I think everybody needs a little speedy slot guy because Julian Edelman has proven that it works. So I'm going Charlie Tweeter.
Yep. She broke my heart. I broke her jaw.
Yeah, he's my guy.
That's one of mine too.
There was some others out there that I was debating. Clifford Franklin, maybe.
Yeah.
He dropped the ball a little bit too much for me, though.
Yeah. How about Arm of the Armadillos, Texas State? Oh God, I just blanked on his last name. Paul, what was it? Paul what?
Oh, yeah. Someone chime in here. I know who you're talking about. Necessary Roughness. I'm blanking on.
Yeah. And my notes are right at my fingertips today. But yeah, he was my fourth. And what was your fourth? So actually, that was my fifth because Charlie Tweeter was my fourth, and you took that one. So I'll think of another real quick.
As a lineman, you have to go Bud Light Kaminsky, the program. It is a great name. He was the leader of that offensive line. You can't Paul Blake, Brett trying
Paul Blake. There you go.
You can't beat that.
No, he can't. He was great. Just had to celebrate with his dogies in the end zone.
Absolutely.
Great throw. Wish I'd seen it.
So we can keep going. Do you have more players?
No, I don't have any more players. We can go on the coaches.
All right. So I'm going to give you one more player. You gave me Alvin Mack. Someone brought this up. I saw it online and I had to laugh. It's not a movie per se, but Terry Tate.
Yeah.
Office linebacker. I was like, well, that's a good one. I wouldn't even have thought of that. So I'm going to throw that in there.
I'll throw in Nellie's character in the reboot of The Longest Yard as far as a running back, because I mean those moves he did them himself in the movie. That wasn't anybody else. That wasn't a stunt double. That was him. So that was pretty good. And I did like his character too. Was running in his bare feet until they gave him some shoes that came in a cake.
Also online, I saw that you had a couple specialists out there, and I thought this was one. Who would you put in there? Who would you slide as a kick returner?
I do Wendell Brown.
Okay, someone slotted in Forrest Gump.
Ooh, cool. He was a kick returner.
He was a kick returner for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and I said, "Yo, you got it. That's a good one."
In the program, what was Omar Epps' character's name? Because he returned the punts.
Yeah. Oh man.
Lick his fingers and go, lights out, baby.
Yeah,
catch the ball.
I'm blanking on his name. We got people can chime in. Rick chimes in. Hey, Rick, how are you? Bird from Wildcats. He's putting in there. I am definitely blanking on the name of Omar Epps' character. Darnell
Jefferson.
That's right, Darnell Jefferson. All right.
Would you want the fullback Ray blocking for you because he sucked?
No, but you know who I would want as my fullback blocking for me, and that's Officer. Was it Dunham from The Longest Yard, the remake? That would be one. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
My wife and I watched him in an episode of it's called Hot Ones. It's called First We Feast, Hot Ones, and they eat hot wings. And you eat 10 wings, and that gets hotter and hotter. And he asks questions. So, and Stone Cold was great on it, telling stories. Didn't even blink when it came to the hottest wing there.
Who would you? So we discussed our players. Let's throw some coaches out there. Who are you picking as your coaches?
I mean, you got to go Tony D'Amato, right? I mean, bar none, best one there.
Yeah, sure.
Also, you have James Caan character in the program.
Right.
Danny O'Shea from Little Giants pulled out that victory, beat his brother Kevin.
Come on.
I mean, look, man, again, I go back to the underdog story. Beat his Heisman Trophy winning brother in a football game, took over the town. You can't go wrong with that one. Brett actually took my other one, Molly McGrath and Wildcats. Another one. What are some of yours?
So I'm going Coach Eric Taylor from Friday Night Lights. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. I'm going Luther Van Dam.
Ooh, Coach.
From Coach. I could go with anyone. I could go Dauber, Dubinsky from Coach. You know, we could go with the whole coaching staff, but we had to make it a little bit interesting there. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay with Tony D'Amato in there as the coach.
Do you remember that show Coach? They used to sell that apparel, the Minnesota State Screaming Eagles stuff. Man, you can never find it anywhere. So hard to find.
So there is an actual Minnesota State, and there's a couple of them, and they have football programs, but they are not the Screaming Eagles. They missed a huge opportunity. You know, I'm thinking of some of my other guys here. You could go with Jimmy McGinty, Gene Hackman from The Replacements.
Yeah.
You could go Sam Winters. You mentioned him already, James Caan. Tony D'Amato has to be the guy. Just simply because
I mean, just cool. He's wearing a suit on the sidelines. He's old school that way. You know, he's got the folded up paper. You know,
you had mentioned someone from Any Given Sunday that I think deserves a lot of look at as a coach, and that's Montezuma Monroe. That is James Brown. That was great character.
James Brown was a singer.
Jim Brown, yeah, sorry. Well, his name is James. You know,
Coach, slow down. You're going to give yourself a stroke.
Do you go with Henry Winkler from The Waterboy?
Waterboy. Yeah. No, I go with what was it, Coach Beaulieu on special teams.
Any other players that you would put in?
No, I'm good with my players.
One that I failed to mention, and I should have, was Latimer. Steve Latimer from the program. He should have been in there. He should have been.
But he needed to cheat to get there.
Yeah, but he needed to cheat at the end. He didn't need to cheat up front.
He cheated the whole movie, his whole senior year.
Stefan Djurdjevic from All the Right Moves was another guy that I had written down.
Yeah, that was a good one too. I like All the Right Moves. It's probably one of the few movies besides Top Gun that I like with Tom Cruise in it.
Manu from Necessary Roughness is a good one. I like Manu. So here's a question for you. So we're talking
Ireland and Necessary Roughness too.
This is one. We're talking fictional quarterbacks, fictional players from fictional movies. Does Dan Marino count in
Ace Ventura? Because he plays himself, though.
Right, but
it's not fictional.
It is fiction. So is it or isn't it? That's my. I was thinking about that when I was making a list. I'm like, all right, well, do I put Dan Marino? Because I would have to put Dan Marino as the greatest quarterback of all time in that equation.
In order for it to be able to put Dan Marino in there, Ray Finkel has to be real.
What do you mean? Ray Finkel can be a kicker if you want to pick your kicker.
Well, then, I mean, that's fine. But, I don't think Dan Marino should count. He's playing himself. And he did make it to the Super Bowl. It's not like he never made it to a Super Bowl. He made it there. But I think the Dolphins did wind up winning that game in the second half.
I believe they defeated the Eagles. Eagles quarterback threw up
so
on the
then
field.
Now you can put him in, because then it becomes fictional.
Pulled a cramp, couldn't do it. All right, let's move on here. Why don't you plug our social media? Let people know where they can find us. It's scrolling usually, and we should change that.
Yeah, so we see the comments going in. We appreciate the help when we don't know the names of characters, because we have so many in our heads. So we do appreciate that. And how we can see them is because everybody's in the Section 247 show feed. Comments are delayed about 20 to 25 seconds, so be patient. When we see it, we will read it. And how we see it is from Facebook Live, YouTube, or Twitter Periscope. So we appreciate you liking and sharing. We still want you to do that, but just make sure when you comment and you want us to see it, you have to be in the Section 247 show feed.
Yeah, we got to see it in there. Otherwise, it is gone. So let's move on. Let's go with our top 5 favorite teams. You started off your number 1 through 5 favorite fictional teams.
So I didn't really have an order for mine. I'm just going to name them off. So I have the West Canaan Coyotes. That's one of my favorite movies in that time when it came out. I think I've said it last week enough that I was a senior in high school when it came out. I love The Little Giants. That's another good one. I smile as I say, because it's just a great movie. I like Friday Night Lights. I like the Panthers, but the movie version. I don't care for the TV show. I like the Washington Sentinels. And then we're going to bring it up at the end is, who is my 5th? Let me think of my 5th rule. Go to name yours. I'll give you my 5th as I go, because I can't remember right now. Oh, so I did the Texas State Armadillos. I'm sorry.
Okay, so you went Texas State Armadillos. Yeah. So I'm going with the Dillon Panthers of Friday Night Lights. I am going with the Orlando Breakers of Coach. I'm also going to stick with Coach, and I am going to go with the Minnesota State Screaming Eagles, because it's just an awesome name and it's a great show. The Ampipe Bulldogs from All the Right Moves, and for I got to throw in the Miami Sharks from Any Given Sunday.
I kept the Sharks out and I put in Texas State on purpose because I knew you were going to say that.
Now, Texas State does get some love for me. I did enjoy them. But overall, I thought about putting the 4077 in there from MASH. They had Spear Chucker Jones. That was a great setup. I'm not a varsity blues guy, so I wasn't sure there. Maybe considering The Rock. Was there anyone else that you were considering putting in there team-wise that you didn't?
No. The Sharks. I was going to do the Miami Sharks. Because I had a feeling that you were going to put them in there, and I was going to try to beat you to a punch, which I did with Tony D'Amato and Shark LeVay anyway. So that's why I kept them out there. So now I'm comfortable with my picks for the team.
I was debating about putting in ESU Timberwolves from the program as well. I did enjoy the uniform. I don't love the Mean Machine.
You enjoyed the Boston College uniform that they had?
I thought they had a good uniform.
Going to the West Canaan Coyotes,
Awful
Varsity Blues. Those uniforms are used in almost like every movie.
That is the prototypical stock high school football jersey. I've seen it all over the place.
Yeah, that is used in almost every movie. I think it was used in Not Another Team movie too. I think Chris Evans had that jersey. Zach Wilder.
Well, Brett chimes in. That's a good one. What about the Penitentiary team from Necessary Roughness?
Yeah, that was a good one. Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
Who else was on that one? It was Herschel Walker. think it was Jim Brown. Jim Brown was in it.
I think so. Yeah, there was a bunch of guys.
Jim Kelly.
Yep.
Dick Buckus.
Dick Buckus was the linebacker. How about the Mean Machine? Do you like any of their uniforms?
So I did not like the movie. I didn't like the reboot version. I did like the original version uniforms better, but I did like the guards uniforms in the reboot.
The guards did have some cool ones.
Yeah, they had good ones there. Let me tell you, that team was stacked too. The guards team in the reboot.
Oh, sure.
You had Steve Austin. You had Kevin Nash. Captain Canower, don't know his real name, but he's in like every single movie there is out there. Basically, he was in Armageddon. That was one he was in.
Yeah, Brian Bosworth was in there, right?
Brian Bosworth.
I can look it up. Terry Crews was in there, but he was on the Mean Machine, right?
He was on, yeah. Brett's chiming in when the Penitentiary team, Evander Holyfield and Roger Craig. Yeah, that was another one. The Longest Yard reboot, you had Bill Romanowski.
Yes, you did.
He was in it. He played a nutcase just like he is in real life. That was probably the most real he ever was. We didn't have to act a day in his life for that one.
Yeah, but he was a good player. I used to enjoy him.
Oh, he was a hell of a player. He was just nuts.
Nah, I can't find. I'm sure I could. Anybody else? Other teams that stand out for you?
No. Mm-mm. Unless you want to pick the Cowboys from the Little Giants with Spike.
Yeah, I hate Spike. I hate everything about that movie.
He's doing the friggin' pull-ups on the dad's arm against the refrigerator.
I can't stand that movie. Between the Giants and the Cowboys in it, it ticks me off. They could have at least put the Redskins in there instead of the Giants. I guess that would have taken out the whole little Giants thing. But they at least have a good song, Hail to the Redskins. You could have played a little bit. It's fun.
Well, the thing is,
where's Ricky Sanders? I mean, stuff like that. It's great.
The thing is with the Little Giants and playing the Cowboys, the color schemes for the uniforms are similar. They're both blue. There's both white in there. I'm surprised Hollywood did that. They didn't do Redskins because of the whole, the team name, the racial slur, the Redskins. That's why they didn't pick that.
All right, so I'm looking it up here. Any Given Sunday. I'm sorry, not Any Given Sunday. Wrong movie. Longest yard guards team. So we'll do the second one and see who they had, because it was pretty loaded here. Bill Romanowski, Brian Bosworth, Kevin Nash, Steve Austin, Conrad Good. Come on here, internet. That's a pretty good.
Conrad Good was Captain Canower, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Bill Romanowski. I can't think of any of the other ones though. They never even have a coach in that for the guards too. They didn't have a coach.
You didn't need one, though. No, I'd say so. Burt Reynolds is coach Nate Scarborough. Okay,
I think I might actually have to go back and watch the original again. I haven't seen it in a really long. I haven't seen it since the reboot came out.
I actually thought now that I'm looking at this, I actually thought I thought they had more talent on that team. I mean, that is a good team, but I was thinking that there were some more big time players in there.
No, I think more big time. You mean like real life big time players?
Yeah, real life big time.
I think the most big time players is probably in the Penitentiary squad in Necessary Roughness. Yeah, they probably had more in there.
You're probably right. And look, I forgot Jim Rome was in that show. It was in this movie. Dan Patrick was a guard. I forgot about.
He's a police officer.
Yeah, officer. That's right. Sean Salisbury was in it. Interesting. I had forgotten about that. I'd have to go back and actually pay more attention to it, I guess.
Sean Salisbury plays the biggest goofball ever in that movie.
Ray Nitschke is the middle linebacker in the original. That's a pretty tough middle linebacker right there.
I have to go back and watch that one for sure. Put that on my list.
Let's move on to a couple of your favorite scenes. What are some of your favorite scenes from fictional football movies? And we can dive into non-fictional movies too, because we kind of eliminated Remember the Titans because it was real really, as far as
based on a true story. Yeah.
Right. But as far as some of your favorite scenes go, we can discuss that.
So in Any Given Sunday, there's a couple of football scenes. One of them is I believe it was Beeman's first game in there. They had Fatboy Slim right here, right now playing. Music for me makes the movie. So with that scene going on, as well as in the last scene, the last drive down there, they had another Fatboy Slim playing, and that was just really good as far as those scenes go. Another one had to been the Friday Night Lights, the movie, as far as showing the final game, the state championship game, how big that Carter squad was compared to the Mojo Panthers. I thought that was really good. What are some of yours?
All right, so I am going to go with a non-football scene, but Alvin Mack is sitting there.
Oh, we could have went non-football?
Oh, you can go non-football in a football movie.
Shit, okay.
Alvin Mack is discussing with Darnell Jefferson, all you need to do is sign an NFL contract. And he puts the shoe up and he says, you see that? That spells Adidas.
I taught him
and
that.
Latimer chimes in, I taught him that. That one is fantastic.
That's a good one.
You can't beat that. Any of the scenes where Alvin Mack is calling the defense is tremendous. Razor bear call stinger, kill the quarterback. Razor bear call stinger, kill everybody. I love those. They're fantastic. Non-football, most of them are non-football. My all-time favorite is Herman Boone in Gettysburg talking to the team after their run through the fog to the Battle of Gettysburg.
One of them, if we're going to go non-football, I mean, you go to the Varsity Blues party scene when you have the guy that graduated in like 1990 still at a high school party because he just wants to be part of the football team.
I would have went another direction in Varsity Blues at a party scene, but that's just me.
You talking about the dryer, the washer?
I'm talking about Cherry Hill's Finest and the whipped cream bikini.
Oh, well, there you go.
Allie Larder. Football scenes, specifically, which ones do you like?
Annexation of Puerto Rico.
That is all right. As much as I don't like that movie, I would agree with you. That is a great one. I like when they drill the horse in Varsity Blues. When Moxon drills the mascot horse, that's a good one. I particularly like that one. I like the one where Vicekahema returns a punt and beats up the goalpost. So that's a different. That's a different. That's a different one.
It might be fictional.
It might be fictional. Well, it's not as fictional as Vince Papale returning the muff for a touchdown. Now, I may or may not have seen that in a game, but that is not legal.
And not only that, it never happened the way that the movie showed it.
No.
So what do you do with that one? So that movie had so many holes in it as far as, but it has that based on a true story. So I guess that throws it out for the whole fictional thing, right?
Well, it happened. What the Vince Papale play?
Yeah. In the movie.
What happens in real life too, but
it didn't happen. The real play didn't happen like that.
It doesn't count. It doesn't count because it's not a legal play because you cannot advance a muff because there is no possession.
What do you think about the scene in Any Given Sunday when Shark LeVay slices open Willie Beeman's Range Rover?
That's a good one.
Or now her Hummer.
That's a good one. I like.
You think that actually happens at an NFL party?
No, probably not. Well, with Lawrence Taylor, who knows? I mean, that's the problem there. With LT, you're talking lots of weird shit would happen. There was LT rules, so I don't know. I do like the scene where in The Replacements where Shane Falco shows up and they flip the car over and he sits there and he locks it. That's a good one. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And the dancing scene in that movie too. I Will Survive. The whole scab team in the prison dancing. You can't beat it.
Yeah, as much as I like The Replacements, as I get older, I don't like it as much. But I still like Little Giants. So go figure that one.
Yeah, I think Replacement stands the test of time. I think it's a good movie. It's one of those must watches anytime that it comes out.
I think really the only movie I want to see Gene Hackman coaching would be Hoosiers.
See, I think Hoosiers sucks.
Really? You think Hoosiers suck?
Yeah, and we can do it when we get to our
I'm no gizzard.
When we get to our great basketball debate movie, we can talk about that. But I was not a fan of Hoosiers. What movies do you still stand the test of time, football-wise, that if it's on, you're going to watch it?
Varsity Blues, if it's on, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch Any Given Sunday if it's on. Only because with Any Given Sunday, it's just like Oliver Stone and Quentin Tarantino. Every time you watch it, even though you've seen it 100 times, you always find something new. So that's one with me. Another one, I've watched Friday Night Lights, the movie, recently a lot. I don't know why. But again, that's with Boobie Miles and Public Enemy in those scenes. Like I enjoy that. So.
My problem with Friday Night Lights, the movie, when it first came out, I really liked it, but I had not read the book. I stopped, I watched the movie, then I read the book. Yeah. And the book, which actually occurred, was so much better than anything that happened in the movie. And it disappointed me going back and actually watching the movie after that.
Have you ever, though, watched a movie or vice versa that was based on a book, and then you watch the movie again after reading the book? Has there ever one that stood out like that? It was actually good, like it did the book justice? I just find that a book doesn't really transfer over to the screen unless you're going to change a lot of stuff in it.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
The book is different. There's a lot of elements that make its way in other movies, but there's one movie where I could say the book is fantastic and the movie is just as fantastic, would be Jurassic Park.
So when I read I Am Legend and then watched the movie, because it takes place in two different time periods. I Am Legend, the book takes place in, I think, the 60s or the 70s, whereas I Am Legend, the movie, is later in future, basically what we're doing right now. I thought that it was too different. It was two different things. That's the only thing. It was good. Both of them were good, but it was just too different for me.
See, I think that's where my love for Friday Night Lights, the TV show, comes in, because it's much more relatable to the actual book. Yeah. And there was a lot in the book, the issues of race amongst people in Texas, that whole divide, and how the team had to come together. It was much more touched upon in the show than it was.
They didn't touch upon it at all in the movie.
No, they didn't at all. Which was, and anyone who read that book knows that was a huge issue on that team, on that Permian Panther, on that Odessa Permian team. That's just my opinion on it, though.
It's funny too that as we keep on talking about Friday Night Lights, Boobie Miles is more of a very disruptive figure in the book.
He's divisive in real life. He's divisive. He's not the team guy.
And in the movie, it seemed like they were going down that road, and they got off of it.
Mm-hmm.
They got off of it right away. Which again, why did you do that?
And it's interesting because Peter Berg directed the movie. He also directed the television show, and he made mention of the book on things that he wanted to do. I guess it didn't. Maybe, who knows? It didn't test well on screen. Whatever.
He didn't negotiate Final Cut right.
That's going to say my big thing is maybe they didn't negotiate everything correctly, and they had to do what they had to do.
He's not Billy Walsh.
Non-fictional.
You know what Billy Walsh is?
No, he did not.
It's from Entourage. He was the director from Entourage, from Medellin and
never watched
Queens
it.
Boulevard. I just moved through that.
Never watched it. Not a show that I'm going to probably check out. But if you had to rank football movies, we'll include the non-fictionals. What else are you going to throw in there? What's your number one of all time?
Because we Remember the Titans. Remember the Titans is going to be number one. It has such a great message. The casting of the characters in it was great. And then, you have Denzel Washington. You can't go wrong with Denzel Washington with that. And then another one that I'm going to put up above all the other ones is Gridiron Gang. Gridiron Gang, every time I watch it, just like Remember the Titans, gets you choked up in different scenes. So those are really the two top ones that I enjoy the most. Yeah,
I agree with you. I like Gridiron Gang a lot. Remember the Titans is my by far my number one. Same thing you said, specifically for the message. I'm going to go with Any Given Sunday as my two. I think it's great. I think you can watch it edited. You can watch it unedited. It's tremendous. I'm a program guy. If the program is on, I'm watching it. If we're coming up on football season, I need to watch the program. Football has not started until I watch the program. Welcome to the jungle. Let's line it up. Let's circle it up. Bull in the ring. Let's get it going. It's great. I want to go out. I want to put my helmet on over here, and I want to go do the Oklahoma drill.
Take it off the wall and go outside.
Yeah.
I used to love the program. And as I get older, it's one of those movies that I'm just like, I can't believe I really like this.
Oh, it's great. It's fantastic. It's so true, too. I used to wear a bandana because of that movie.
It's true.
It's true. There's a lot of stuff that in my short time at Kane University, I saw happen in a football locker room. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're going to wrap this show up, Michael. This is the end of the great football debate. We are going to get back to, it looks like sports is coming back. So we're going to get back to some normal stuff here in the next couple of weeks. If there's anything that people want to hear us talk about, let us know. Where can they find us?
So you can find us on all social media platforms. Please subscribe. Please like. It's Section 247 Show. You'll find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can find me on Twitter at Michael Watkins 7. And where can they find you?
You can find me at the Doc at the _Doc_247.
Yeah. What is it this week?
That's what it's staying at. We're going to be putting out some new content. We're going to have a combat sports show that is going to be dropping in the next couple of weeks. I'm trying to get some people here. I'm pointing that way to maybe do a hockey show of some sort, a debate show. But we'll see what happens there. People have asked for it. We're going to do it. Check us out, Podomatic. Go on Podomatic, search Section 247 Show, and that'll take you everywhere you want to be. Until then, we'll see you later.